I'm always happy when I see PA Works doing original series. I think their adaptations are always kind of mostly miss, but I really do enjoy a lot of their original series. And with this season, in the summer 2021 anime season, we get the Aquatope on White Sand. And this is a series that will be thankfully running for 2 whole cours, which I did not know that originally, I don't think, but definitely looking forward to diving in this one. So this is my first impression on the first 2 episodes, so let's jump into it. The Aquatope on White Sand essentially opens up with a failed idol. It's this girl that apparently was part of an idol group in Tokyo, and at some point she is stepping away from it. They have some comments from a couple of the workers there saying, she's going to regret this later when she gets back in the regular workforce. You'll find out later that it seemed like there was another member of her group that was trying to be center, and she was claiming that her grandmother was not doing well and that she needed to do this. And so this girl, Fuka, decided to kind of, step back a little bit, even though it did seem like, according to her, that a lot of the people working there were seeing her as being lazy. And so they eventually kind of just told her, you might want to step away from it. It might not be for you kind of thing. So she leaves, and after telling her mother that she was on the way home and they were going to have a welcoming party, she decides, jump on a train, go to Okinawa, where she ends up finding this aquarium that she enters and eventually is kind of enveloped by some sort of almost a supernatural occurrence where she's kind of almost feels like she's transported into the aquariums themselves with the fish and sees these beautiful imagery. And one of the girls that works at this particular aquarium, Kukuru, she kind of notices that she had some kind of episode, and she says that it's possibly the Kijimuna in the area that is affecting her, like it's playing tricks on her. So apparently there is this Kijimuna that is in the area, or at least like some kind of myth of it that exists in the area. And as Fuka follows Kukuru around, she eventually asks Kukuru, hey, can I work here? I'll do anything. Can I please work here? And she's like, well, let's check with my grandpa, who is actually the director. And they go back to her place and they talk to the grandfather, who again is the director of this particular aquarium. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. We come to find out this aquarium apparently is not doing well. It's got a lot of maintenance that needs to be done to it. A lot of the machines and stuff in the background just require a lot of money in order to function. Through a conversation Kukuru has with some other people, she talks about how she wants to put on this big show in order to raise money in order to do the maintenance and basically take over the aquarium from her grandfather, because her grandfather's like, he's just going to let it go. He's like, he's done, he's going to close it, but Kukuru loves the place so much, she wants to keep it going. And you'll see like some of the bills that she has are like upwards of $30,000. So she's got a lot of money to raise in order to make this successful for sure. And following this, we of course have Fuka starts working at this aquarium, and Kukuru's, you see expressionally, she's very strict about what is done there, because she just puts like the lives and the safety of the fish pretty much over everything. To the point where she drags Fuka into one presentation with a bunch of kids to feed some penguins, and she accidentally drops the bucket because the penguin starts attacking her, and Kukuru just explodes on her like, I don't want anything to happen to these. I will never forgive you if anything happens to these animals. I was kind of like, geez, what a mean girl. But this kind of continues as we end up having like a group of guys come and try to, I don't know what they were doing. They were talking about helping her with money or whatever like that. And I think that because she basically claims, we're not closing. So it seemed as if they were implying they were going to buy the facility from her, just to buy her out and just, I don't know, sell the equipment or something like that. But she just, of course, again, was not having it. She's not closing. But after they kind of break a sign that she handcrafted, Fuka gets mad basically in her sake, and just drives the guys off. And that's pretty much where we're leaving at this point. Again, they're kind of trying to build up this big event they want to put together. A bunch of people are coming to Kukuru's aid to help her with the whole presentation and everything. And Fuka's apparently run away from home. She keeps lying to her mother, saying that she's with a friend or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're leaving at this point. So Fuka's pretty convincing to Kukuru that she's given up on her dreams. She's told her about her issues with the idols, and now she just wants to help Kukuru with her dreams of supporting the aquarium and everything. So yeah, my thoughts on the series so far. I think it's a solid opening for the series. It's very laid back. It doesn't feel like it's moving too slow, which I kind of assume would be the case. I think the first episode was a little slow moving, but I think that was really kind of to watch as Fuka goes to this remote location and is kind of introduced to the aquarium itself. So it feels nice in that regard. Visually, it looks amazing. I really do love PA Works' style. I like their character designs. It looks great. I don't know what it is. There's a few points where it feels like their side perspectives are kind of off, and I'm not quite sure if that was been a case with any of the previous PA Works titles. It's never really stood out to me, but for some reason out of nowhere, this show, anytime a character is looking off to the side and the camera's like pointing this direction to their cheek, it just looks off. Again, I don't know if that's a thing that I just never noticed before, but it just feels off in this regard. But that's a minor gripe. Other than that, it looks visually pleasing. A lot of the shots of the aquariums and the fish, obviously they're using CGI, but it really does blend in well with the characters and everything else in the show. So they're definitely doing a good job there. I'm mixed on Kukuru at the moment. Kukuru is... I like her determination, and I really do want to see her succeed. She wants to keep this thing going. She's very determined with the whole situation. She's a little... she projects a little bit, so that kind of hurts a little bit. Like, I kind of want to be understanding of her. I mean, obviously, when Karen shows up and kind of mentions it to Fuka, like, you know, she's got a lot of stress. She's got all this basically weighing down on her. So if she does snap at you, please let her, you know, please support her. So obviously there is a issue there where she is being driven by something to be a little mean, but it's like, girl, if you gotta train. You can't just throw this girl out there to feed a bunch of penguins. You need to train her first. Don't blow up in her face when it doesn't work out. It's just one of those aspects of somebody that's like in management who doesn't properly train their employees, but then lash out at them when they don't do it properly because you don't properly train. But hey, that's maybe being nitpicky. I just was like, gosh, that just really made me not like her for a moment. But hopefully it'll get better going forward. Again, they had this little bonding moment where, like I said, her noticing that Fuka was outraged on her behalf, and so there was a little bit of bonding that happened with that. But yeah, that's just one of those issues where you have somebody that's a little bit too young to be handling some kind of management thing, so they're obviously going to make failures like that. But I really like the cast so far. I think one of the issues that sometimes happen with PA Works' original series is they get a little bit too many characters. And I feel like they have a really good balance right now. Like, thankfully, since it is technically a story that's more in a less populated area, thankfully there shouldn't be too many characters. So I'm hopeful that they'll kind of keep the cast solid and more fleshed out, and not expanding too much on the cast and not having much time to spend with any of the characters. Especially being 24 episodes, we know that we have plenty of time for them to do a lot of development with the characters themselves. I'm really curious as to exactly the direction they'll go with the series, because it already is kind of laying it out as, here's the problem, the aquarium's being shut down, she's looking to do something in order to get the funding to repair things, and obviously we do have this element that Kukuru does have this ace in the hole, which is an idol. Is she going to use Fuka to essentially bring people in? Is Fuka going to be okay with that, or is Fuka pretty much like, no, don't drag me back into the idol sphere, I don't want to be in the public eye? What kind of issues can come with her coming back into the public eye after leaving this idol great place? Does she have contractual reasons for having to be restricted to working for them and nobody else? There's non-compete agreements that often these performers will actually sign. Will that come into play? There's a lot of possibilities here, but I'm really curious as to what's going to be the longer game with this particular story, because we're already putting in this element of this Kijimuna that is obviously playing tricks. He's obviously showing up every now and then, walking around and eating fish. Is that going to be a more supernatural element they're going to put into play that will extend the story a little bit further? I am really curious. It's exciting with an original series because you don't really quite know exactly the direction it's going. You don't have much of a synopsis to work off of. And I'm really curious what they'll do beyond just let's save the aquarium, because they have a lot of time to work with and a lot of time to really develop these characters. It's got me really excited. I'm looking forward to more of this series. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. Definitely leave me a comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the series so far. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and y'all take care.